Y'all, I look pretty rough today. Hey, Davita, whisper to me, Tammy, Teresa, Lily, Anna. Yeah, the other one, I can't get it going. I've got to try to take it down. Carolyn, I, sometimes it happens. I don't know why. It goes to a streaming thing and it won't let me. Sorry, you left a party for this. Well, I'm here now. Raggedy and all. Here, even brushed my hair. We're not going to worry about it. We're going to do this thing. Hey, Moo. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. Let me get a couple of my aspirin and we'll get started. Hope y'all's having a wonderful day. I know I sure am. I'm just having a blast. I'm by myself right now and I'm enjoying it while I can. It doesn't happen very often. Got a couple hours alone. And I was going to just watch some stuff. And then Davita was saying, you should go live and read. And so I got to let my public know I care about them, you know. Can't let them down. That's what it's like. Getting my water. Hi, Captain Lee fan. Hi, Nana May. Crime scene cleaner. Yeah, I almost knocked my basket of crafting supplies over. See, Davita, I should not have went live because, you know, I'm pretty klutzy right now at the moment. So just deal with me. Hi, Nana Patty. I almost said Nana Betty. Boy, if I don't have these readers on, I'm getting really bad. Yes, I hope everyone had a wonderful day. I have been. You're eating some supper. Ooh, chili, yum. I was wanting chili last night. Okay, I'm going to go right where we ended last time. See, I even marked it. Getting more organized, more coordinated. Betty White is on my mind. So funny that they called Minnie Betty White. It was so freaking cute. I had no idea they were talking about Minnie when I heard them at the desk. So it was crazy in there. They are so disorganized there. You want to know something? They called me today to let me know that they received my voicemail a couple nights ago. And they gave me the hours and everything and told me to come on in, see if my baby was there. But they mean well, you know. They have a lot of volunteers, I imagine. I imagine some are not volunteers and they belong, work there. But it all turned out good. So we're going to read In Hiding. And this one has a pony. And it's not Shorty. Once they broke the ice, the fun could begin by Susan Davis. Here's a picture. On many Sunday afternoons at Susan's house, their Shetland pony, Dickie, was called into service. Here Susan's mom is holding the reins, and Susan is the fourth one from Dickie's head. The other riders are her siblings and cousins. This poor little Dickie. 2, 4, 6. They got the baby up on his neck. I very doubt very much they rode him like that, because you can't have a kid on the neck no matter how little the kid is. What'd you get today, Tammy? Oh, probably what you ordered from Nana Patty, maybe. In the 1950s and 60s, I grew up on a small farm in northeastern Colorado. Our home was just over a half mile from the nearest highway. One day, a fellow school bus rider exclaimed, "It looks like you live in a field." She could see our house sitting up on a hill bordered by fields. No wonder she made that comment. Actually, our home was surrounded by farmland and pasture land, but we did have a large graveled yard. When someone turned off the highway, they had to travel up a hill and go around a couple of curves. My 9 siblings and I grew up very shy in this secluded setting. Many Sunday afternoons, relatives came out to our farm to visit. If we kids were playing outside, we could hear a vehicle approaching. Once it was in sight, we'd usually recognize the car. We'd run into the house and announce to Mom and Dad who was coming. We would then hide in the bedroom. I really don't know why we did this, because we knew all our relatives. It wasn't like they were strangers, but somehow it made us feel safer. When our company came into the house, we were quiet as church mice. Occasionally, one of us would take a quick peek around the corner. We did this out of curiosity and thought we were being sneaky. If our guests caught us in the act, we ducked behind the security of the wall. Our fear slowly diminished, and we wandered out into the living room one by one. When it was my turn, it felt like all eyes were looking at me. After everyone was in the living room, Mom would say, "Why don't you go out and play?" She was talking to our company's kids too. Once we were outside, we had all sorts of fun. We played and laughed with each other. We had a Shetland pony named Dickie, and our cousins always wanted to ride him. We chased him down in the pasture and put a bridle on him. We then led him into our graveled yard. Since we couldn't put a saddle on by ourselves, somebody went into the house and asked for help. The adults would quit playing cards because they didn't want any of us getting hurt. They knew Dickie had an ornery streak. Oh boy, them ponies do have ornery streaks. Oh yeah, whisper to me. I hear you there. I was 12 when I got Shorty. I think 12, yeah. One of the adults would boost quite a few youngsters up on his back. Mom was the one who usually held the reins and led us around the graveled yard. We all loved going for horseback rides. One Sunday afternoon, Aunt Dorothy climbed aboard Dickie. It didn't seem to bother her that she was dressed in a skirt and blouse. She could handle the pony much better than we youngsters could. She looked like she was having a great time. After everyone had had a chance to ride Dickie, he was released back into the pasture. Typically, Mom made popcorn and served soda pop whenever we had company. The adults snacked on the goodies and continued their card game. Mom told us kids to go outside and eat our popcorn and drink our pop. She didn't want us making a mess in the house. Our company usually stayed all afternoon. When it was time for them to leave, all of my family gathered around their car and talked for another 15 minutes or so. Although my brothers, sisters, and I didn't welcome into our home initially, we were glad they came. The next time company arrived, the whole scenario happened all over again. And here's her Aunt Dorothy riding the pony in her skirt and blouse. Did you hear what, Shorty? Short, did you hear that, Shorty? Hi, Lisa Nia. Hostage number 55. Hey, Nana May, you know what? It might happen. Hi, Sandy Ellens. Just scrolling back a little. Hi, Earthbound. No, she's not side. No, she's not riding side saddle. See, you can tell. Her other leg's on the other side of the pony. Here's something called fresh dresses and warm clothes. Some days she couldn't have both. Yes, you have been hostage for months now. I don't blame you, Nana May. I'd still love to have a horse. Hi, Lucy J. We tried to get me one a few years ago. We were going to keep it at a stable, but never worked out. So I settled for going to riding stables that used to be around here. Here's a picture of her too. It says, when winter was at its worst, Donna would resort to using her older brother Danny's outgrown clothes to stay warm. Shows a picture of her and her brother. Having school clothes was never a big problem for me. My grandmother, Bertha Workman, could make anything out of the printed calico fabric from flour and feed sacks. And all of her family kept warm in winter thanks to her beautiful hand stitched quilts. People waited in line for Grandma to make some available for sale. On weekends, my family and I always drove to her home deep in Willow Hollow, West Virginia, to visit. My younger sister Brenda and I knew there would probably be a surprise for each of us. We were never disappointed. We two girls would squeal with delight when we saw our freshly made, washed, starched, and ironed dresses hanging in plain sight. These dresses were covered with all kinds of designs. I liked the colorful flowered ones best, but the blue ones were fun too because they were what I called swing-tailed. When I whirled in a circle, I looked like a ballerina, or so I imagined. Brenda and I always checked to make sure that there was a front pocket where we could hide mysterious objects, but mostly we just put a handkerchief in it. That sounds so cute, those flower sack dresses. We wore the dresses to church, especially on Easter, but I usually wore them to school. I thought I was the best dressed girl at the Atkins one-room school, even better than the teen girls in 8th grade. Summer was fading quickly, and now the winds blew in chilly air and snow. My dresses would have to be retired until spring. Get my drink. In 1953, most girls were not allowed to wear jeans to school, but my brother and I walked for miles on a red dog road, a road for which coal waste was used for paving to get to school. My nose. My father, Basil, went to work at his job in the coal mines very early in the morning, so driving us to school was out of the question. Times were lean, but I could not be expected to be exposed to such cold temperatures or snow almost deeper than my 6-year-old body was tall. My mother, Rachel, had the perfect solution, and truthfully, I didn't object when Mom helped me dress in my winter outfit. When I saw that Danny was grinning and Brenda, who was not old enough for school, was watching, but I saw that Danny was grinning and Brenda, who was not old enough for school, was watching too. First, Mom had me put on a pair of Danny's green jeans that he had outgrown. Next, I put on one of his old t-shirts. Hi, Frida. And last came one of his striped shirts. Sometimes I even wore his socks. He had to teach me how to fasten and unfasten the multicolored suspenders attached to the jeans. Over my brown high top shoes, I put on my red rubber boots. Finally, I was ready to eat a quick breakfast while Mom packed my lunch in my Roy Rogers and Dale Evans lunchbox. Then she packed Danny's lunch in an old lard bucket. She always stuffed in as many freshly baked biscuits as the pail would hold. As she closed the lid, she told Danny to set the pail on the old cold-heated stove in the classroom just before lunch break. He was to share it with some of the students who never seemed to have a dinner meal. Then Danny and I would start our long journey to school. Along the way, we would meet up with some of our classmates. The day was long, but I was warm and never hungry. I was always proud to wear my brother's clothes as well as Grandma's dresses. After all, I did have the best school outfits. Here's the Great Gildersleeve. It was radio's first spin-off program. And if you want, you can get your own free minute classic radio episode via digital download until February 28th, 2022. Here he is right here. Harold Perry was the voice of Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve, an old radio program. It says Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve was a popular character appearing regularly on the Fibber, McGee, and Molly show. Gildersleeve was the perfect foil. I wish I could sneeze. Doesn't. Oh, excuse me. Gosh. See, I shouldn't have came live, Davita. I'm blaming Davita for everything. Hi, 10th Angel. Hi, Scott. Thank you, Haley Sage. That felt good. Let's see. He was the perfect foil for Fibber McGee, and he was also his next door neighbor. On one occasion, Gildy and Fibber solved a dispute by battling it out with water hoses. Gildersleeve was so popular that on August 31st, 1941, the character landed his own situation comedy show, The Great Gildersleeve, becoming radio's first spin-off. Gildy moved from the town of Westville Vista to Summerfield, where he became the town's water commissioner and raised his orphan niece and her nephew, Marjorie, originally played by Lorraine Tuttle and followed by Louise Erickson and Mary Lee Robb, and Leroy Walter Tetley. The household also included a housekeeper named Bertie, played by Lillian Randolph. Oh, no, that's not that lady from the... No, I was going to say she's from the Honeymooners, but Joyce Randolph, never mind. The Great Gildersleeve was the first show to be centered on a single parent balancing raising children, work, and a social life, accomplished with taste and genuine wit, often at the expense of Gildersleeve's slightly understated pomposity. Radio veteran Harold Hal Perry originated the role of Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve, but left the series at the height of its popularity in 1950, giving way to Perry's sound-alike and well-known character actor Willard Waterman. Waterman continued in the radio role until 1958 and also played Gildersleeve in a syndicated TV version in 1955 to 1956. Hi, Debbie Britt. Look at these kind of nail clippers. Ever see anything like them? Fancy schmancy. Easy grip. Won't slip or slide. And that is what tonight's program is being brought to you by. Warming up your pizza, Lisa? All right. Here we have some pictures people have sent in. I'll just show them. Some snow in Indiana. Snow in Mansfield, Ohio. That's 1958. That's so cute. Look at them. Cute little kids. I know, right, Davida? 55. We were just born, girl. Or were you talking? You're just playing around. They are asking for people to send in their photos. Remember, there is somebody here who has had 2 of her articles printed. Here's Ruth Marie's parents enjoying a date in Philadelphia in the early 1900s. And here's another picture of Bonanza, Oregon. Isn't that where Doug lives, Oregon? It says they didn't know it at the time, but when Delmar and his sister Shirley posed with their pets at their home in Norfolk, Nebraska in the winter of 1941. It would be their last winter there. After the Pearl Harbor attack later that year, we moved to California, where my parents worked in an aircraft factory. And here's a little guy out playing in the snow. And then Marge Smith Perkins is on a little snow horse that they built in 1943. Oh, how cute. I thought that was a real horse for a second. You're right there with us, huh, Frida? Hi, Jess Ruby. Welcome. Okay, here we go. A treasured tradition. The get-togethers were always entertaining, but this particular weekend was the best. Here's a picture. June's parents hosted their relatives every year for the Milwaukee Air Show. That's June's dad in the white t-shirt. Wow, that does definitely look 60s. I'm so glad we got to live in those days, Davida and Frida. People want to go back to those days. We were so little, we couldn't appreciate how nice everything was back then. You know? You too, Debbie. Britt, right. Wish we could. We could go back. We'd be there with all our relatives and everything, you know? Know what we know now, and things just weren't so crowded and stuff like they are today, right? Right, Frida? Not so many rules and all that kind of junk. Yes, 60s and 70s, Sandy. I agree. Back then, I was a TV antenna. What? Hi, Sour Milk and Cookies. Haven't seen you for a while. Yes, Minnie. Yes. Yes, Minnie ended up being in the dog pound that night. Thank goodness. And we found, the person, the Humane Society posted it that night, like 2 hours after I put it in the Facebook group for the lost animals in the area. So it was a great. We got to get her. And that's just lifted our spirits. Wait, no one else had to hold the antenna for their dad to watch a ball game. Oh, yeah, we got her back. We're so happy. Oh, I know. She's in there sleeping, feeling like she's all that now. She had her adventure. That little thing took off running so freaking far. I just would love to know what she was thinking. She had to be so scared. She's probably looking for Tinkerbell, thinking, we're going to the cottage. We're going to get in the car. I'm going to follow her. Hi, Jen Grill. Okay, we're going to read. I quit talking. It all turned out good. We miss our baby, but that's life. Try not to think about that part. Yes, Sour Milk. That little thing. I can't believe she would do that. I know it was all confusion because she was left here by herself with the 2 cats. Because we took, the 2 other dogs to the vet. She was left here alone. And we were there for several hours, so she thought she had been left. And when she saw us come in, she wasn't taking no chances, and she just bolted right out like, you ain't leaving me, I'm going with. Praise the Lord. We got her back. Okay. In the 1960s, Sundays were reserved for visiting relatives. If we weren't traveling to a relative's house, they were coming to ours. It was tradition after Sunday Mass to gather the family into our station wagon and head out to visit relatives all over Milwaukee County. My siblings and I were delighted to know we would be spending the day with our many cousins. While visiting, we never gathered in front of a television. Everyone talked to one another or played board games. Of course, the one exception to television was if the Packers were playing. Then Dad and the uncles turned it on while they continued talking. Boy, that is true. I didn't think about that. When we were kids and you went to visit people or they came over, you never were sitting there watching TV. Well, I know we weren't. We were outside playing or inside playing a game if we couldn't go out for whatever reason. But yeah, see, that's why we were better back then. Millennials and Generation X. They say we baby boomers don't know nothing. Right, LMNW50? One summer weekend each July, the visiting was extra special. Mom called relatives in advance so that everyone marked their calendars months ahead of time. They were invited to our house for both Saturday and Sunday. This was the weekend of Milwaukee's famous air show. Our house was perfectly situated for watching the show. Located at the end of Quincy Avenue, we only had to cross the parking lot of Al's Custard Stand and Layton Avenue to find ourselves standing on airport property. Only a chain link fence separated us from the action. Behind our very large backyard was an airplane approach zone that we called the field. During the air show, this was transformed into a huge parking lot. On a typical Sunday, we would usually be in the field flying kites or playing kickball, ring around the rosy, or softball. It was truly odd seeing strangers milling around, sitting on car hoods with their faces turned skyward. It was weird to see our neighborhood, located on the fringes of Milwaukee, be so crowded. But after the show, tire marks and litter were the only evidence of the peculiar metamorphosis that had taken place. The morning of the air show, Mom would send all of us kids out early to set out lawn chairs to claim the best spots. We even spilled over onto the edge of Al's Custard Stand's parking lot. Oh, I bet that was good. Some neighbors carefully reclined on their rooftops to catch a better view, but Mom would not allow that. That was too dangerous, even for Dad. We referred to the airport informally as Billy Mitchell Field, as it was named after the famous World War soldier and aviator, General William Mitchell. Accustomed to the noise of airplanes and helicopters flying over our houses, we laughed at our relatives, covering their ears to the roar of jet engines. We had to admit it was quite a bit noisier than a typical day, but that just added to the excitement. We watched in awe as vintage airplanes somersaulted in the sky, diving deathly close to the rooftops. Helicopters flew so low that we could wave to the pilots. Some planes trailed streams of cotton candy pink or blue vapors that then vanished in the air. There were stunt planes with men standing on wingtips, holding on for dear life. Random parachutists oozed yellow smoke from their feet, which looked like lightning bolts against the blue sky. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the uncles, with beers and binoculars in hand, peppered the air with jokes. Dad set up a telescope, and we jostled to get a turn. The aunties with scarves on their heads would try to sit in the shade of our elm tree, but would often get up to help Mom in the kitchen. Between aerial acts, the cousins experimented with seeing how many kids we could stuff into the phone booth at the corner of the street. We also attempted unsuccessfully to convince one of the uncles to buy us each a custard. Unsuccessfully. Soon it was time for the finale. That's when the U.S. Navy Blue Angels or U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds jetted low over the ground. The sound was deafening. People shrieked and pointed, and even my siblings and I, accustomed to airplane racket, covered our ears. After the show, everyone gathered in our big backyard to eat. I don't know how my mother accomplished this. With every spare table and chair taken from the house and 2 picnic tables borrowed from neighbors, we barbecued in the backyard. There were various desserts, fruit salad with mini marshmallows, potato and egg salads. Close your ears, Carolyn, to that one. Pickle and cheese trays, enough to serve at least 20 to 30 adults, and oodles of famished cousins. We kids also enjoyed a rare treat. Early in the week, Dad had taken us to Black Bear, a local soda bottling factory, to pick out sodas in glass bottles. There were so many flavors: strawberry, root beer, grape, orange, cream, ginger ale. Even white soda was great. And to think, with all those people staying at our house, we had only a single bathroom available. In 1975, the air shows ended. Dad said the reason was lack of funding and population increases that raised safety concerns by local government officials. See, there we go, already starting. Oh, time alone's over. Dang it. That was quick. Too quick. Let's see. There was also greater commercial airline traffic into the newly minted General William Mitchell International Airport, and air shows became too disruptive. Unfortunately, that was about the same time that the tradition of visiting on Sundays began to wane, and a treasured childhood tradition came to an end. How'd it go?
Fun.
Had fun?
Yeah.
Were they already done?
No.
Oh, because I was going to say you guys weren't really there that long. Glad you had fun. Did you bring me a present? I thought Grandma Tina and your dad might have a present for your old granny here. Fine. What was Isaiah ready? Isaiah was ready to come back or something?
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's
I'm
go.
reading right now. Okay, set the bill there. Let's see, how long is it? 40 minutes. Frozen windows and a pickup truck. Pink sour milk. Nothing's wrong. LMNW50. I was enjoying the privacy. Oh, they can't hear me now. Isaiah went to his room. Looks like Lexi's going to hers for a minute. I like my privacy. I never get it anymore. Well, now, hi, Bridget. We were only empty nesters. Few brief years.
Cat necklace.
Huh?
She got me a little cat necklace.
Oh, how cute, Lex. That's not a cat.
Yeah, it is a cat turned around. It's a cat.
I don't see it, but it's... Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Backwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cute. Lexi's grandma got her a cat from the back. I see the tail,
Yeah.
back of his head.
Sterling silver.
Oh, sterling silver. My goodness there, girl. You getting rich.
I saw milk and cookies.
Yeah, they're back. What'd your dad get you?
Yeah, $50 Visa gift card.
Really?
Yeah. I got a $25 gift card from my grandma Tina.
Oh my goodness. Would you have about $50 I could borrow?
I mean, I kind of need to use your card to buy the doll. So.
I'm kidding. Okay, this one, frozen window in a pickup truck. A trip for lumber had an unexpected reward by Bruce Squires. And here's the lumber. They're all saying hi to you, Lex,
Hello.
and that your gift is very cute. Did you guys have dinner or anything?
Yeah.
Snacks, or what did you guys have? So I don't have to get you anything or cook you
I mean, you
anything.
do.
Oh, that I wouldn't have to cook you nothing.
There was a rice dish with broccoli, carrots, and cheese melted on top.
Ooh,
Pretty good.
that sounds good.
My dad smoked a pork butt.
Did
Pretty
he?
good too. They're deviled eggs, a meat and cheese tray,
Ooh,
and a couple other things.
sounds good.
It was.
Were all the kids there? All the brothers and sisters, Caitlin and Dylan and
Caitlin,
Alicia.
Melissa, and Callie weren't there.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah.
If only the walls could talk, they could still tell a story of bonding between a father and his son. The drywall and 2x4s that formed those walls might remember a time nearly 60 years ago. This one's going to make Davita cry, I'll bet. It's never a good story night unless Davita cries. When that father, short on money but driven by ambition, made the difficult choice to hire a man who had a pickup truck to make a trip to a distant lumber yard to acquire the drywall and lumber for constructing bedrooms. Carol and Jimmy can do that. People can hire him out to pick up their things. He was hardly enough to build the bedrooms himself. He was handy enough to build the bedrooms himself, but he needed help to get the supplies from the lumber yard to his rural home. That was my dad. He had grown up during the Great Depression and served in the Navy in World War II. And though he was lacking in formal education, he was intelligent enough to have picked up a lot of knowledge in his tutelage through the School of Hard Knocks. He could show you how to use a hammer and change a flat tire, and he could also argue why Kennedy would make a better president than Nixon. If you were an adult, you might try to argue with him, but you could never change his mind. Now, married with 2 sons, he realized that the home he and his wife had purchased only a few years before was quickly becoming inadequate for his family's needs, even after he had made numerous improvements. The home, which in its earlier life had actually served as a ticket office for the county fair, was fairly efficient, but it was small. Almost all of its living space was on the first floor. There was a dirt cellar, but it was mostly used for storage, and a coal bin for heating. And there was an empty loft. Any thought of simply purchasing a newer and bigger house was out of the question. My dad was finding it difficult enough to make the monthly payments on the $5,500 mortgage. A practical man who could solve a problem My dad decided that the upstairs loft offered a solution. He would place plywood flooring across the beams of the loft. Then he would purchase drywall and lumber to build doorways and walls. After measuring and cutting and lots of labor, presto, our home would have an upstairs with bedrooms for my brother and me, and even more space that would be used for storage, but could easily become another bedroom or two as needed for a growing family. For reasons I don't remember, my father got the price he needed locally on the plywood flooring, but he wasn't about to pay a premium price for the lumber and drywall he also required. He scoured the local newspapers and searched the lumber yards until he found a price he liked from a dealer in Selkirk, New York, a town south of the state capital of Albany. Our hometown, Cambridge, was about an hour's drive north of Albany. We only had access to an old car, and my father realized he needed a truck to get those building supplies. Through word of mouth and some tips from relatives, he found a local man who had an older pickup truck and was willing for a reasonable price to make the trip to Selkirk. And that's where my bonding experience with my father came in. I had an older brother, but for reasons I don't now remember, he couldn't or wouldn't join my dad on the trip to Selkirk. I'm not sure why I volunteered to go with my dad on the caravan, but even though I was only about 12 years old, he was pleased and accepted the offer. This was January in upstate New York, so there was plenty of snow on the ground when on a Saturday morning, the pickup for hire showed up in our driveway. Mom had fixed us a lunch to go, and we were on our way. I don't remember all the details from the adventure, but I remember the three of us, the driver, my dad, and me in the middle, cramming into the cab. It was cold, and the truck was unheated.
You making biscuits on the bed.
On my bed?
No, the dog bed.
I was going to say, I hope she doesn't go in there. Never get her out. Force was cold and the truck was unheated. Ooh, that would be horrible. Forcing its driver to stop every few miles to scrape the ice from the windshield. No freaking way. I wouldn't be riding in that in the winter with no heat. The trip seemed to take forever, but we got to Selkirk, got the truck loaded, and headed home. I was constantly uncomfortable as I dealt with the cold conditions and being squeezed between two adult men with the driver constantly using the shifter near my knees and the regular stops to scrape the windshield. It sounds awful. I remember, though, my dad looking down at me with a smile as we neared the completion of the trip. This marked one of the first times he and I had done something together, just the two of us, and somewhere along the way, we had made a new, stronger bond. Weeks later, as I enjoyed the space of my new upstairs bedroom, I often thought of that winter excursion. Frozen windows and a pickup truck had provided one of those rare but so special shared experiences between a father and a son. Hi, Tick Turtle Gum. Hi, Susan Witkowski. Okay, 10 questions of 50s love songs. We have one of the real good ones that will probably know this. Davita's Got Her Tear. And Davita's great at these songs. Who sang this song, I Only Have Eyes for You? And I'm not good. I'll know the songs, but I never know who sings them, hardly. I only have eyes for you. She got some eyes. Who sings that? Nope, you're wrong. Wait, unless I have it wrong. Nope, not the Platters. This is 1950, not Garfunkel. You got it, Bridget. The Flamingos. Who sings Little Things Mean a Lot? I don't know what that one. How do I not know that? Little Things Mean a Lot. I would probably know it if I heard it. You use Surrey. Come on, Bridget. Bridget, I was so impressed. Girl. No, that not Betty White. Hi, Nicole Angel. It's Kitty Callan. Oh, you guys will get this one though. Even I know this one. Well, some of these are before our time too, Captain Lee, but we still know them. I wasn't around when Abraham Lincoln was, but I know who he is. Okay, how about Put Your Head on My Shoulder? You guys know this one. Put your head on my shoulder. Baby. That's right. Paulinka. Paulinka. How about Peggy Sue? Peggy Sue. Oh, my heart yearns for you. Oh, Peggy. My Peggy Sue. I'm getting like DeVito. Yes, ma'am, it is Buddy Holly. Okay, number 5. Oh, I wouldn't have known this one. When I Fall in Love. I don't even know that one. Or I can't think of it. I'll give you a hint. It's a duet, 2 people singing it. Well, yeah, that's what a duet is, right? Really, Captain Lee? Yes, Nat King Cole and who else? Rich. Somebody else. It will be completely. I don't know it. Nope, not his daughter. Nope. Nope, not Barbara Streisand. She was before Barbara Streisand. Or I'll Never Fall in Love. Yep, I can't think of the tune, but I kind of do know it. It will be forever. I'm starting to remember now. Not his daughter, no. No, not Aretha. No, it's before Aretha Franklin. Come on, guys. 1950s. Was Barbara Streisand a popular singer in the 1950s, or Aretha Franklin, or Diana Ross for that matter? They came in the 60s. Come on, guys. Same here, Bridget. Think about it. Who was one of the... Not Loretta Lynn. Loretta Lynn and Nat King Cole. Not a country song, Captain. Come on, she was in a lot of movies. My dad didn't like her. I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't care for her. I don't even know how I know that, but I remember. Yes, Debbie Britt, Doris Day. Yes. Doris Day. How about Love Me Tender? Everybody knows that. Elvis, of course. How about That's Amore? That's Amore. When the moon hits your eye, got a big pizza pie. That's amore. Doesn't sound like that. Yes, Nicole Angel. Dean Martin. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. You guys are good now. How about Earth Angel? Oh, I didn't know they sang that. Okay. Because remember, this is the 50s. I know it was remade later. Earth Angel. Nope, not Frankie. Not Frankie Avalon. It's a group. Earth Angel. Hi, Jeannie's talking about life. We're talking about love songs from the 50s, not the Chandels or Shondells, whatever, not the Drifters. Bridget, don't look it up. Hi, Tracy B. Is Tracy Kloss here? Nope, not the Platters. Tracy Kloss always likes a story time. I don't know why she's not here. Not the yeah, it is. I'll just tell you. It is the Penguins. You got it, Cat's got my. Yep, just as I said it. How about Sea of Love? I wouldn't give this one either. I know the song, but not the person singing it. Sea of Love, 1950s. Come with me, my love, to the sea of love. Nope. Somebody called Phil Phillips. And then number 10, Sugar Time. I think Davida would know this one, I think. Sugar Time. A girl group. Blank. Nope. Not the Temptations. Yes, they are sisters. I don't know how many there were. Not the Supremes. McGuire sisters, yes. Sugar Time. Is that one that go shoo 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 Sugar Time? I thought it was Sugar Town. Nope, McGuire sisters, Davita. One was married to a mobster. For real? I didn't know that. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. I'm hearing somebody in the other room. Look at this, guys. How cute. Loved you yesterday. Love you still. Always have. Always will. Aw. I should get this for Dave. Give it to him for his birthday. No, it was the McGuire sisters, Lucy J. Isn't that cute? Precious moments. Oh, that's Nancy Sinatra? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. Has it been an hour? It's been an hour. We're going to go a little bit longer. Now that Davita's got me up here, I don't want to stop. I'm just going to keep going. Here's a movie poster about this story we're going to read about. For Love and Money, Love Conquers All in the Hollywood classic Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Here's the movie poster. Where you going, Nana Patty? Oh, take a shower. You're excused. Come right back. What? You're not live now, are you? For real? No, you're not. I know you're joking. I know you are. I'm checking my phone. I know you're just kidding. I know you're kidding. You're kidding. Your red light's not on. Carolyn. She's kidding, whisper to me. She's joking. She'll let us know. When World War I ended, I don't hardly either get her notifications, or it's after she's been on for a half hour. Susan. She loves getting me. When World War I ended in 1918, the world had changed. The Roaring Twenties ushered in new attitudes, as evidence in the culture and in its books and movies. In 1925, Hollywood staff writer Anita Loos produced a series of rather scandalous articles about fictional characters Lorelei Leah and her friend Dorothy Shaw for Harper's Bazaar magazine. Scandalous. No, he is not. Whisper to me. After just 3 issues, Lou's stories about the love lives of these 2 modern women had tripled the magazine's newsstand sales. Soon, a collection of these tales, which were written in the form of a diary, were published as a book under the title Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. The first edition sold out the first day. After the second run of 60,000 books was released, sales averaged 1,000 per day. That's a lot. Wow. Moo. That's almost, never mind. Carolyn, no, I'll be nice. I was going to say that's almost like somebody else's book, but I won't say it because I do feel sorry for that person. In 1926, Lewis wrote a Broadway play based on the book, and in 1928, a well received silent movie, hi Carol Lucy, which is now lost, was made. In 1949, the story of Lorelei and Dorothy returned to Broadway in the form of a musical with songs by Jewel Stein and Leo Robin and starring Carol Channing as Lorelei. Then in 1953, 20th Century Fox produced a musical version of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes from the big screen with the inspired casting of Marilyn Monroe as Laura Lee, or Lorelei, whatever, and Jane Russell as Dorothy. Hi, Sandy Callahan. The story begins with two showgirls from Little Rock, Arkansas, working in New York City. Laura Lee, let's go with Laura Lee. No, Lorelei. Lorelei is interested in love and money and a suitor, and Dorothy is just interested in men in general. When they board a ship headed for Paris, financed by Lorelei's rich fiance, Gus Esmond Jr., played by Tommy Noonan. Oh, I remember Tommy Noonan. He was in Lassie. He was, I believe, at one point. Lorelei discovers a new way to wear diamonds in the form of a tiara that is owned by Sir and Lady Beacom, who were Charles Coburn and Norma Varden. She decides that she's just got to have it. Dorothy is otherwise occupied by the young men of the Olympic team that is on board. What the two women don't realize is that the father of Lorelei's fiance has hired private detective Ernie Malone, played by Elliot Reed, to prove that she is just after his son's money. Carol. I can't remember each time, so I'm just going with whatever I say. Though the book is written from the point of view of blonde Lorelei, brunette Jane Russell got top billing in the movie. Russell made her sensational debut in the Howard Hughes film The Outlaw in 1943, best known as a sex symbol. Russell had demonstrated her comedic skills in movies she made with Bob Hope, The Paleface, 1948, and Son of Paleface, 1952, and Groucho Marx, Double Dynamite, 1951. Hi, Susie B. Marilyn Monroe's performance in the film noir classic The Asphalt Jungle, 1950, set her on the path to bigger roles. She proved her comedic talents in films like We're Not Married and Monkey Business, both in 1952. In early 1953, she had top billing in Niagara, a thriller that also starred Joseph Cotton. When Monroe was told she was not the star of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, she quipped, "Well, whatever I am the blonde." Not many of the songs from the Broadway musical made it to the film, but notably, I'm Just a Little Girl from Little Rock, which opens the movie, Bye Bye Baby, and Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend made the cut. Two songs by Hoagy Carmichael and Harold Adamson were added, Anybody here for love? And When Love Goes Wrong. Russell and Monroe were not cast on the basis of their musical abilities, and the head of the studio, Daryl Zanuck, assumed that their singing would have to be dubbed. However, the musical director, Lionel Newman, put together a tape from the actresses' rehearsals for the opening number, which demonstrated that they could sing their own parts. The only exception was some high operatic notes at the beginning of Monroe's Diamonds number. Those were sang by Marnie Nixon, who would later dub Audrey Hepburn's voice in My Fair Lady. Oh, didn't know that. Since neither Russell nor Monroe was a professional dancer, Jack Cole, the choreographer, devised hand, arm, and hip movements for the actresses that gave the illusion of dance proficiency. In fact, it took a great deal of practice to get the synchronized moves just right, and Monroe and Russell pull it off with great effect. Filmed in glorious Technicolor, the clothes designer, Travilla, took advantage by designing the costumes worn by Monroe and Russell in the elaborate production numbers in ultra bright colors. This makes me want to watch some old movies when I get off of here. In the Little Rock number, the dresses are a glittering red, and in Monroe's iconic performance of Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, her dress is made of shocking pink silk. It was Travilla who famously posed Monroe in a tailored potato sack in 1951 in order to prove she looked good in anything. Director Howard Hawks was known for his eclectic films, ranging from screwball comedies like Bringing Up Baby, 1938, with Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant, to serious features like Sergeant York, which was 1951, Gary Cooper. Hawks had worked previously with Russell in The Outlaw and with Monroe in Monkey Business. In spite of his impressive roster of films over the span of his career, his only Oscar nomination was for directing Sergeant York, and he lost out to John Ford for How Green Was My Valley. Gentlemen Prefer Blondes ends in classic Hollywood fashion, with love conquering all. As for Lorelei's, hi Mark, okay. Thanks, Cindy. Lorelei's obsession with money and diamonds, she explains to her future father-in-law that she does love his son. Don't you know that a man being rich is like a girl being pretty? You might not marry a girl just because she's pretty, but my goodness, doesn't it help? And if you had a daughter, wouldn't you rather she didn't marry a poor man? You'd want her to have the most wonderful things in the world and to be very happy. Why is it wrong for me to want those things? The father had to concede her point and admit that she just might be smarter than he thought she was. Going into bed now, Carol, 4 a.m. Okay, dear, have a good sleep. They talking about me here, Carolyn. Just like Burnt Hot Dog Bonnie said, I don't own the word scooter. And gee, how big is your head getting? Okay, Carolyn, this one's for you. Lake lessons. I do sour milk and cookies, yes. Oh, how cool, Bridget. You're so gripped with these stories, Carol. Let me see. My sister Shelly keeps hers down way low like that, sour milk. Way too cold, but she does. Here's the lake lesson. Summer or winter, Her grandpa thought of every detail. By Carolyn Cavarnos. In the early 1950s, when my grandpa and grandma Frederick purchased some rural acreage in Mainville, Ohio, they dug a small lake after the house was built. It didn't cover more than a couple of acres, but it became the stage for fond memories and much of our outdoor education and recreation in my youth. Here's a picture of them real quick, so you know who we're talking about. This family here. At one end of the lake, the fringe of cattails was robust and plentiful, but at the opposite end, Grandpa raised ducks. Near a stately oak, he built a nesting box for the mallards to lay their eggs, surrounded by an overhanging chicken wire pen to keep owls, weasels, turtles, and other varmints away from the newborn ducklings. The pen was also submerged into the water, so he soon had a small flock to keep his pond healthy. My younger brother and sister and I were enchanted, but we had to keep our distance. Grandpa said he didn't want us human varmints to spook them. Away from the nesting box, Grandpa sectioned off and cleared the surrounding grass to make a sandy beach that slanted toward the water for my two younger siblings and me to enjoy. It was only about 8 by 10 feet, but it allowed us easy access in and out of the water without trudging up the slick bank of the lake. He continued the sand base into the water for a few feet also. We learned to swim in that lake, but first we had to get familiar with the squishy feel of the mud between our toes and the tickle of submerged pondweed and green algae dancing at our little legs. Every once in a while, an inquisitive fish would startle us with an underwater kiss on our calf or thigh. Being tasted by a fish was not painful at all, but we jumped and squealed as Grandpa chuckled, his pipe in hand from the shore. Eventually, we could swim out to Grandpa's homemade rowboat that was anchored a good distance from the beach. Later, we learned how to row with the oars to successfully maneuver around the entire perimeter of the lake. The boat was named Emma Lou after Grandma. When we were very little, our mom sewed 3 drawstring bags for us kids to carry our plastic strap-on 2-blade runner skates to the lake for ice skating lessons. I don't know if you guys heard this. I'll say it right after this story. I heard it on the news. I don't know if you guys heard it. We graduated to leather figure skates as we got older and steadier on the ice. My brother taught himself ice hockey with a wooden puck and hockey stick crafted in Grandpa's basement. In winter, we would build a small fire on the beach to keep warm while skating, and we shared hot cocoa from a large thermos. Grandpa built a small wooden bench for us to sit on when we put on our skates. He thought of everything. On this same lake, I learned to fish for bass and bluegill. Eventually, I became practiced enough to warrant my own pole and tackle box. My first taste of turtle soup came from a huge snapper Grandpa pulled from the lake. The creature was tan and fierce-looking, with its beady eyes and sharp claws. Grandpa knew it was eating too many of his fish. It's almost over. On 2 paragraphs. But it was Grandma who created the recipe for the soup. As a little girl, I remember pretending to like the taste as I thought the adults did, but I have eaten real turtle soup since then. I learned to swim, skate, fish, and row a boat on Grandpa's lake. I learned about lake ecology and how to have fun outdoors in every season of the year. I also inherited my grandpa's red leather cap, and I still wear it outdoors in the fall and winter to remember him. It was on the news. Did any of you guys hear that? The 17-year-old hockey player in school was killed during a hockey accident. He fell, hit his head, and couldn't get up or something. And one of the players couldn't stop in time and slit his throat with his skates. It was just on the news right before I came to read. Isn't that horrible? I guess just today. Horrible accident. Isn't that horrible? They had a picture of the kid, that was killed. Yeah. Oh, and I bet his parents were there, watching. 17 years old. My gosh, the kid that did it, that accident, he couldn't stop in time. Can you imagine how he's going to feel the rest of his life? A 17-year-old. It was on our news tonight. Right, Carol Lucy. The blades of his skate just slit his throat. He tried to stop and he couldn't. Let's see. I'm going to read one more and then we'll be done. What? Really, Carolyn? I don't know who she is, but oh, that's so horrible. Prayers to her. Right. Exactly, Carolyn. I was going to say, did you know who she is? But yeah, and that kid, he was such a nice looking boy. Oh my gosh. Not that that matters, but I'm sorry, Twisted True Crime, Cindy. You'll probably never hear this, but many prayers to you. It's horrible. Here's a flashback, fun little thing. The White House underwent reconstruction from 1949 to 1952 after it was deemed unsafe. Originally built from 1792 to 1800, it has been the home of every president since John Adams. President Harry S. Truman and his family and staff lived nearby in Blair House, the president's guest house, during the renovations. And another flashback fun, Guy Lombardo and his Royal Canadians Band gave a New Year's Eve performance at the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City each year from 1929 to 1959. From 1960 to 1976, they performed the New Year's Eve show at New York's Waldorf Astoria Hotel. Originally broadcast on radio starting in 1954, the show also aired on television. Their performance ended at midnight with their annual rendition of Auld Lang Syne. She used to be nice, and she made you a logo. I think I do remember her. with the JOT stuff that she, got mean or whatever. It's probably why I don't, know much about her. I hope I'm not starting to get what you guys have all had. No, I don't think I am. Okay, boxed shirts, bedspreads, and bud. The combination was essential for their Sunday visitors. That's what most of this month's magazine has been about, right? All about unexpected company and stuff. It's just pretty cool. Here's a picture of the family. It was taken at a Sunday gathering on March 26th, 1950. Ronald on the couch next to his mom had just turned 3 years old. His parents, aunts, and uncles always dressed to the nines for these occasions. This is how my granny was too. She always dressed for her family stuff. That's how they did a lot back then, No, I don't know. My throat feels a little bit weird, but it might be something different. I might be thinking it's my throat and it's my ear. You know how that goes. Or my tooth, whatever. We'll see. This is by Ronald Tragaz. The smokestack towered high overhead. One could see it from 2 blocks away. Rainbow Laundry was printed vertically from top to bottom on 2 sides. I liked going there with my dad's shirts, especially in the winter. The people were friendly, and the hot blast of warm, humid air that enveloped me as I walked in was welcoming in Chicago's frigid temperatures. Chicago. It felt like I was taking a hot shower with my clothes on. My father had a blue collar job, but he wore a white shirt on Sundays with a suit and tie. We all dressed nicely for Mass and to receive relatives and friends or to go to their homes later in the afternoon. Dad liked his dress shirts laundered with medium starch, folded with cardboard inside, and boxed, not hung on hangers like today. Monday through Friday was the work week, and both my parents held jobs. Saturday was busy with laundry, shopping, and house cleaning, but Sunday was special. I always looked forward to Sunday dinner. Mom was a great cook, and to reading the Sunday funnies in the newspaper. They were in color on Sundays, but on weekdays, they were just black and white. I went out to buy the paper early Sunday morning from the man who pulled a coaster wagon down our street, piled high with the Chicago Tribune, Herald American, and Sun Times. Paper, Sunday paper, 25 cents. In winter, he pulled a sled. The newspaper man always wore a Herald American apron. I helped him out a couple of times and he gave me a spare. I had a newsboy cap just like the one he wore. When I got older, I liked to help when my folks entertained relatives. My parents would always cover our beds with special decorative bedspreads on Sundays and holidays. They did this for their entire married life, more than 50 years. When Sunday visitors came with coats, it was my job to take them. Just lay them on the bedspread, my mother would say. I suppose we could have tried to find room in the closets, but somehow this just became commonplace in our family. We still do that too. Well, at Dave's and Mom's we do. I don't know about the others. I don't think my dad does. Yeah, my parents have a coat rack there. But it used to be the bed. Everybody's coats on their beds. Anybody used to do that or still do that? Yes, LM? Henny? Hi, Henny. Nicole Angel, yes. See, I guess it's pretty common, huh? I never even thought about that. Yeah, sour milk. Oh, yeah, we're glad Carolyn's okay. Oh, Jeannie, that's sad. Carol Lucy. You're right, Mimi. I was thinking that. Your keyboard's messing up. When Sunday, okay, I already read that. We served beer at these gatherings, and I helped with that too. Starting around 1935, beer was often sold in steel flat top cans you had to open with something rarely heard of today, but still in use, a church key. Brewers put their names on them and gave them away as a way to advertise. I bet people collect those now. What, don't you? Duty Ron's in here? How cute. That's sweet. He's probably thinking, that's funny, I'm calling him how cute. I'm just cute, though. Welcome. The keys came in different sizes, and you used the end with the pointed triangular head to pierce the can, making two holes opposite each other. One hole allowed the beverage to be poured out, and the other supplied air to replace the liquid. My Aunt Estelle schooled me in its use and cautioned me not to puncture a hole over the seam, since men often drank beer directly from the can. Cans then were not seamless, and we always wiped off the tops. Her husband, Uncle Sam, worked for Budweiser. Paraphrasing an old commercial, he would say, "Yeah, when you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer. But when you're out of Bud, you're out of business." That's Mark's favorite beer, my son-in-law. Got him stuff from Budweiser, too, for Christmas this year. Because of Uncle Sam, we only served Budweiser in our house. And that was it. 134. I can't see him either, and I wouldn't be blocked from him. Hi, Kathy from Texas. Okay, since we have a couple of new people coming in, we'll read one more and then we'll be done. Carolyn, you're kidding. You're playing with us. Dorothy's here. She's pulling our leg. You're getting me all excited. I'm thinking how cute that he would come. Penelope and George. She's getting me. Mark, okay, I love your name. Here, we'll read one more. The Nixon plot, because Kathy from Texas wasn't here. Even though Duty Run is not here. And I will be getting you back later, Carolyn, when you're least expecting it. Here's the picture. Betty Jean's father, Frank, plotted for weeks to request a New Year's Eve kiss from his future bride, Peg. Oh, thank you, Cat Scott Mai. That's so sweet. Thank you. Carolyn, you're getting me good there, lady. Greg. And I'm always doing that. She got me good. I'm always saying hi to like Moo or different people that even aren't in the chat. just to throw people off. I've done that for a long time. A couple of years now, actually. Carolyn. The Nixon Plot. Would all his weeks of planning pay off? By Betty Jean Ward. The year was 1941. In those days, the guys styled their hair like Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire. The hairstyle favorites of the ladies were Ginger Rogers and Dale Evans. On date night, the men sported suits and the ladies wore dresses. In Philadelphia, on the corner of 52nd and Market Streets, there was a dance hall called the Nixon. I thought that was going to be something about the president. I know, LMNW50. She did something before, too, where she got me real good. Carolyn, stop it. I can't remember what it was, but remember, I had to get her really good, get her back really good. I don't even remember what it was now, or even if I don't know if I got her back, but in I'm thinking, why? Wow, Duty Ron, that's really so cute that he's in here. Yeah, so funny. Every Saturday night, people gathered at its doors to dance to big band music from Glenn Miller and Guy Lombardo, among others. Back in the 1940s, when a guy wanted to dance with a girl, he had to sign her dance card. These were like appointments to dance with a certain guy. The band leader would say the number of the dance, and then the guy knew he would be dancing with a particular girl. If the girl was a good dancer, she wore gold slippers. If she wasn't that good, she wore silver slippers. My dad, Frank, loved to dance. He was about 5 feet 9 inches and on the thin side. He combed his dark brown hair like Bing Crosby's. One night in September 1941, as he stood with his friend Tom in the dance hall, the girl of his dreams walked in. He couldn't believe his eyes. She was beautiful, with shoulder-length dark brown hair and brown eyes, and she was slender and stood about 5'6". He noticed she had on gold slippers and knew she had to be a good dancer. Looking around, he could see the other guys admiring her too. His mind raced with possibilities of how to eliminate the competition. When he walked over to sign her dance card, he found out her name was Peg. The first dance together was the anniversary walk. So we all fell for it. Hi, Casey Rux. Carolyn. Oh, I bet they would have, Hanny. I'm sure they would have. I wonder about me too, though, you know? That would be kind of, I don't know. Every Saturday night thereafter was special because he would look forward to seeing Peg at the dance. However, a lot of the other guys felt the same way. He prayed to God to show him how to win Peg's heart. As the new year approached, Dad got an inspiration and devised a scheme to beat his competition. He knew it would take some effort and luck, but the plan had to work. At midnight on New Year's Eve, his plot would be implemented. He had spent weeks counting the dances and calculated the midnight dance to be the 16th dance. New Year's Eve finally arrived. Dad practically ran to the dance hall that night. The walls were decorated with pictures of champagne glasses. The ceiling had red and white streamers from corner to corner. Over the bandstand was a Happy New Year banner. Dad eyed the guys who stood around and chatted with each other. Little did they know what he had planned for midnight. Peg entered the dance hall with her friends and smiled at him. She was immediately surrounded by a half dozen guys who asked to sign her dance card. Dad's hopes of getting the 16th dance were soon fading, but he knew he had worked too hard to be defeated. He had to think positive. When he did get to sign Peg's dance card, the 16th dance was open. However, the 15th and 17th dances were already assigned. He hoped he had counted right, and he was on pins and needles the whole night. He prayed that he had picked the dance right. At 11:55, the 16th song was announced. Sighing with relief, he walked over to Peg. "I believe I have this dance," he charmingly stated. In the middle of Harvest Moon, the countdown to midnight started. Everyone began shouting, 10, 9, 8. The song Old Lang Syne started to play. My dad looked into Peg's big brown eyes and whispered, "Happy New Year." She responded with the same. It was at this moment that his plan came full circle. He finally shared with her the one thing he knew would make her his, a New Year's kiss. All the weeks of plotting had paid off. He gave thanks to God for the inspiration he had received. They became a couple that very night and were married 2 years later. Over their 44 years of marriage, they had 5 children, of whom I'm the youngest. My parents have been gone a number of years now. However, every New Year's Eve, our family gets together to reminisce about what we refer to as the Nixon plot. It was cute, right? Yes, he did die. He did, I believe, yesterday, Jeannie. I'll keep the thing right in here. This one's almost gone. Only a couple more stories left. You like that one? Good, good, good. Thank you, guys. I don't know, Cat's got mine. So I'll put it right here. The next story for next time, suspenseful, the hijacking of the Crescent. Glad you liked it. Thank you, guys. Love ya. And see you next time. Well, see you at Carolyn's. Okay? Bye, guys. Okay, crime scene. Thank you.